Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we are finally taking our first step, our first look at the best tier 2 characters in the game. Now guys, this is a very complicated and this is a very important question to tackle. It's probably the most requested video and requested question. Who should I tier 2? Who is my best tier 2 next? Who should I go for? Which character? This character, that character, and the other one. So to make things easier for you guys and to make things easier for me, so I don't have to speed through more than 110 characters in one video, we have split them up neatly into the 4 different categories based on their typing. So today we're going to be covering only speed characters, guys. Then we will move on and do the other 3 types as time permits with different videos. So this way we can spend a little bit more time explaining why each character is ranked as I believe they are, whether it's from very worst to the very best in terms of their viability, their importance, their value as a tier 2 character. So a few disclaimers before we start the video, guys. This is for tier 2 characters. I'm not just considering their value at tier 1, but I'm considering what tier 2ing them actually does, where it brings their character in the game, in the meta, how it makes them compete in all of the different game modes. Also guys, I will be giving you 4 different scores as well as a final grade. So the 4 different scores will be their score out of 5 for World Boss, Shadowland, Alliance Battle or Alliance Battle Extreme, and then finally PvP. PvP is Timeline Battle, Battle World, Alliance Tournaments, stuff like that. So with those 4 categories in mind, it will give you a more closely guarded and a more robust idea of why I'm ranking the characters as follows. We have your must-have tier 2s. These are your top tier 2s. Then we have your high priority tier 2s. Then we have your situationally useful tier 2s. And then finally we have your irrelevant tier 2s. These are your dumpster level tier 2s, guys. I would also like to put the disclaimer, guys, that of course I have not tier 2'd all of these characters. So for some of them, because I haven't had the chance personally to play with them as a tier 2, I am relying on the information I can gather and the research I can do from the community to come to my semi-expert conclusion and opinion based on, all of the characters I've played with and based on my, thousands of hours of experience in this game. So please take that into account. You're free to disagree, but these are just what I think. So starting it off with Karnak, we have a character who really struggles in all game modes basically. The fact that he doesn't have iframes, survivability, stuns, or burst DPS means that he probably can only score out of 5 about a 3 on World Boss, a 3 on Shadowland, a 1 on Alliance Battle and Extreme Mode, and then a 1 on PvP. Overall, that makes Karnak a irrelevant tier 2, basically dumpster level, as you guys love to call it. Up next, we have Fanjul. Fanjul suffers from the same issues that Karnak has. No CC, no survivability. He does have the summons with Fanjul's formation, but that's just not enough. He has the weakest stats as a speed typing, so his summons have very weak survivability. He's going to probably rank at about a 3 in World Boss, again a 3 in Shadowlands, and then 1 in Alliance Battle and 1 in PvP. One more time, we have ourselves an irrelevant dumpster level tier 2. Next up, Wong. Wong is slightly better than Karnak and Fanjul for the following reason. He does have survivability, Mystic Shield, and he does have a pretty good tier 2 passive that really bumps up his damage. That plus his uniform means that he's a little bit more of a respectable or situationally useful tier 2. I would rank him probably as a 3 in World Boss, a 3 in Shadowland, a 2 in Alliance Battle, and then probably a 2 or a 3 in PvP because of that Mystic Shield. So for those reasons, he's a situationally useful tier 2. Next up, we have Misty Knight. Unfortunately, my girl Misty doesn't have a lot going for her. Despite the fact that she has a self-buffing leadership and an even more buffing tier 2 passive similar to Black Widow's, she doesn't have any large AoE burst damages, she doesn't have a lot of other survivability, and she just doesn't do a lot of work in any one game mode to stand out as a fan favorite. Because of those reasons, she's only a situationally useful bottom level of that, almost an irrelevant tier 2 at this point. She doesn't even have enough cold damage skills to take advantage of the fact that she has the cold damage leadership, because she has some of them split between physical and lightning. Because of that, I can only realistically see Misty Knight scoring about a 2 in World Boss. It's very hard to get her to kill them, I can attest to that. A 2 in Shadowlands, and then a 1 in Alliance Battle and PvP. which again puts her on the border between irrelevant and situationally useful. Next up, we have Gomorrah, and Gomorrah, if you guys don't know, needs a lot of help. She's in a really bad place right now. Make the Guardians of the Galaxy great, guys. Not for today. Gomorrah is only going to score about a 2 in World Boss, a 2 in Shadowlands, a 1 in Alliance Battle, and then probably about a 1 in PvP, if even that. Because she just doesn't have the survivability and the damage to really do much of anything, right now she's an irrelevant tier 2. You should skip her. Next up, Elektra, my girl. So many buffs. Really great character at tier 1, and she gets even better at tier 2. However, because of the fact that she only does things decently well, I can only classify her as a situationally useful tier 2. But she is very high on that situationally useful list, so she's almost into that high priority second tier class of speed tier 2 heroes. Elektra, I think, is probably about a 4 in World Boss, which is very good. A 4 in Shadowland, which again is fantastic. A 3 in Alliance Battle and Extreme Mode, and then probably something around a 2 because of her iframes in PvP. Next up, Hawkeye. Despite the fact that he has 2 uniforms, despite the fact that he is an original Avenger, and despite the fact that he's pretty badass in the Old Man Logan comics that I just finished reading, Hawkeye kind of struggles as a tier 2 in this game. He doesn't have a lot going for him. He's probably only about a 2 in World Boss, a 3 in Shadowlands, and then a 1 in both Alliance Battle and PvP. For those reasons, he is a situationally borderline dumpster tier 2. Next up, we have Agent 13, formerly known as Sharon Carter, guys. Sharon Carter used to be the premier speed hero for Speed Alliance Battle. That is no longer the case. However, she can still hold her own in the regular Alliance Battle, not so much in the Extreme Mode. Because of her iframes, because of all of her survivability, but in spite of her very, very low anemic DPS, Agent 13 is only a situationally to borderline dumpster level irrelevant tier 2. I would personally say she's an irrelevant tier 2. She needs a lot of help. That 20 and 28% is not enough. That needs to be doubled for her to do any kind of damage. So I would steer clear of her. She's probably only going to score you about a 2 in World Boss, maybe a 3 in Shadowlands because of all of the immunities that she can do and kind of the skill canceling. She can maybe do a 2 or a 3 in Alliance Battle because she can clear the normal speed day for you, and then she's just a 1 in PvP. If you're not playing her manually, she's just going to get slapped down and killed pretty much instantaneously. Next up, we have a fan favorite, Squirrel Girl, and I don't mean to drop the nuts on this ferocious young thing, but she's kind of trash. She's kind of not very good, guys. Her summon is basically all she has going for her as far as her tier 2 goes, and her summon is not even that great. It's good, but it's not great. The damage is not so fantastic, and because her tier 2 basically focuses solely on that, 10% guaranteed dodge is not enough. It puts Squirrel Girl in a really tough position. Right now, I would say she's about situationally useful, borderline irrelevant in the current meta given the current game modes. I think that Squirrel Girl could give you something along the lines of a 3 in World Boss, a 3 in Shadowlands, a 1 in Alliance Battle, and then maybe a 2 or a 3 in PvP just because of her sidekick Tippy Toe. But otherwise, she's almost irrelevant. Falcon up next, the guy who famously, or not so famously, beat Doctor Strange in Timeline Battle. Falcon has a pretty bad tier 2. 15 seconds of cooldown basically means it'll trigger once and then you'll die. Not very good. Makes him basically irrelevant in this meta. This tier 2 needs a lot of work. Falcon needs a lot of love that she's currently not getting. He's probably at best at tier 2, only a 2 out of 5 in World Boss, a 2 out of 5 in Shadowlands, and then double 1s for both Alliance Battle and PvP. Ouch, dude. Talk to Captain America. He got his buffs. You need yours, buddy. Next up, we have Bobby Morse, aka Mockingbird, guys, and with the new uniform specifically, Mockingbird is a pretty decent character. However, you do need her newest uniform. Her tier 2 passive makes her quite tanky, quite good at surviving with that 35% guaranteed dodge. But even still, with the damage lacking and the fact that there are better options in speed, I would say that Mockingbird or Bobby Morse is only about a situationally useful tier 3, tier 2 character. I would probably rank her about a 3 in World Boss, about a 3 in Shadowlands, a 1 in Alliance Battle, and then probably at best a 2 in PvP, which makes her only useful in certain situations. Now, Miles Morales has a very strong tier 2 passive against world bosses. I will admit that. However, it's not really useful in other game modes as much as it is against world bosses who are exclusively villains, so he does take a hit because of that. And also because his CCs don't work against world bosses, it kind of puts him in a strange position. But I will say that Miles Morales is on the high end of situationally useful tier 2s. I don't think he's a must-have. I don't think he's even a strong recommendation, but he is very close to being a recommended tier 2 character. Miles Morales is probably going to rank a 4 out of 5 in World Boss, which is very strong, a 4 out of 5 in Shadowlands because there are a lot of villain stages that he can try to dominate, and then sadly only a 1 in Alliance Battle because he has very little AoE, area of effect damage, so he can't deal with all the mobs. And then he's probably at best a 3 in PvP because there are still a lot of super villains to take down. Dormammu, Thanos in the Black Order, Enchantress, and he has some typing advantages there. Next up we have Black Cat, and despite how good she looks, it doesn't translate into her gameplay. Black Cat is at best situationally useful, so that's in the second tier for tier 2 characters. And although her tier 2 passive has a lot of wording and it has a lot of buff and debuff interactions, it just doesn't have enough to proc. It's got a 20-second cooldown, but it only procs for 10 seconds, so you only get it half the time. It's really not that useful, and it doesn't complement the rest of her kit and her skills enough to make enough of an impact. Black Cat is probably at best a 3 in World Boss, a 3 in Shadowlands, a 1 in Alliance Battle, and a 2 in PvP, making her a situationally specific tier 2. Next, Winter Soldier. Now, Winter Soldier is best utilized with his Captain America uniform because of the invulnerability or immunity, that he gets with cover fire, but you will need to practice that yourself like I did in Shadowlands to get used to it. Winter Soldier, despite the fact that he does have a great leadership and a so-so tier 2 passive, is only situationally strong in this game right now. Overall, I would say that the Winter Soldier can probably give you about a 3 in World Boss, a 3 in Shadowlands, a 3 or a 2 in Alliance Battle because he has a good leadership, especially if you're using Yondu. They strike for each other. There's synergy there with him and Black Widow, who we'll get to later. And probably he's about a 2 in PvP, which makes him borderline recommended, but not quite there yet. Up next, we have Sin in the speed category, and sadly, Sin is a Sin when it comes to how bad a tier 2 passive can be. Sin gets the award for least amount of text in a tier 2 passive ever. Just 20% guaranteed dodge. That's it. Nothing else. That's a cardinal sin in my books. Sin, unfortunately, is not fit for the game currently. She definitely needs a buff. She needs a lot of help. She is dumpster level. She is irrelevant. Gone. Goodbye. Adios. At best, guys, tier 2 Sin is a 3 in World Boss. A 3 in Shadowlands just because she's a super villain. And then it's 1s across the board for Alliance Battle Extreme, and PvP. It's just not good enough for Sin. She needs a lot of assistance. Next up, guys, Spider-Man, one of the most beloved Marvel heroes. Where does he rank in this game, guys? Is he one of the best? Is he a recommended tier 2? No. He's situationally useful because of his CC on his webbing when you combine it with his Civil War uniform. However, given just the power of his tier 2 passive, I have to say that currently he's only situationally useful. Although he's pretty high on that ladder, he's very close to being a strong recommendation in that second level of tier 2s. He's probably at best a 3 in World Boss. However, he is probably closer to a 4 in Shadowlands, which is fantastic, outstanding. He's probably about a 2 in Alliance Battle and Extreme Mode. And then he's probably about a 3. He's mid-level, a little bit above average in PvP due to the power of his webbing. Another Webster, guys, Silk is a little bit better than her counterpart there in Spider-Man because of the fact that she has a shield, because of the fact that she gets damage in addition to survivability with her tier 2 passive, and her new uniform gives her a lot of CC ability. I would say that Silk is probably the closest Webster we have to a strong recommendation for tier 2. I would put her in that recommended list, in that second category, not quite that first category, but the second category out of 4. Silk is probably at tier 2 a 4 out of 5 for World Boss, a 4 out of 5 for Shadowlands, almost a perfect 5, 2 on Alliance Battle just because she struggles to deal damage to lots of mobs, and then she's probably a 4 in PvP. Even in this day with the meta that we have of Doctor Strange and the gang, Silk is still a formidable, feared opponent, especially if you don't have web resist. She can lock you down, and for that reason, she is a recommended tier 2 character. Daredevil, however, is not. The man without fear is also the man without a good tier 2 passive. My bro needs some help. Even with 30% guaranteed dodge, he takes hits, he gets killed, he doesn't last very long. I mean, he's better off than Kingpin, for example. We'll get to him later on, but still. My man here, Matt Murdock, where does he rank? Daredevil is probably at best a 3 in World Boss, a 3 in Shadowlands, and then sadly just a 1 in Alliance Battle. He has very little area of effect damage, very small hitbox for all of his skills, and then maybe he's a 2 in PvP because of his club swing attack, which can stun. Sorry, it's the Billy Club shot that stuns. That's a 3-second stun, very long, evasive maneuver, very strong. Spider-Gwen, another one of the webbed heroes, does have a lot of iframes and she does have some webbing, but unfortunately she doesn't deal a lot of damage and she needs to be played manually to get the most out of her skill set. For that reason, she's only a situationally useful tier 2 character, but I do think that Spider-Gwen is probably a 3 in both World Boss and Shadowland, a 1 in Alliance Battle just because, again, not a lot of area of effect skills. A lot of the Spider characters struggle to deal damage to lots of enemies at the same time, and then because of all the iframes and the jumping around, she's difficult to target and she can web you up. She's a 3 in PvP, which makes her somewhat useful. The last of my non-tier 2s is Gwenpool, another favorite, not Deadpool guys, look again. Gwenpool is a pretty strong tier 2 character. I would rank her as a strong recommendation because as a speed character, she is one of the strongest. She has very hard hitting skills, physical damage, lots of iframes, she has AoE, she's got the full package, she even has a passive heal. Gwenpool is going to give you probably about a 5 in World Boss. She's very, very strong against those enemies. A 4 in Shadowlands, which is excellent. A 2 in Alliance Battle, or a 3, I would say, just because she can deal with a lot of the mobs, but she struggles to score a lot of points in Extreme Mode. And then Gwenpool is probably a 3 again in PvP. So that puts her pretty evenly as a character, and it does make her a recommended tier 2. Now, my man Ant-Man, just to show you guys I'm not biased here, I don't think that Ant-Man is a recommended tier 2. At best, in this current meta, in this age, I think that Ant-Man is a situationally useful tier 2. He does have incredible guaranteed dodge. He basically has 20 seconds of immunity, but his damage is so pitiful, and there are more characters creeping up who have ignore dodge that it does make him less of a threat and more of a liability on your team. Ant-Man still needs a lot of help, so he's only about a 3 in World Boss, a 3 in Shadowlands, a 2 in Alliance Battle and Alliance Battle Extreme, and then at best a 3 in PvP. Those numbers are a little bit on the high end given his overall score of situationally useful, but I just don't think I can recommend him currently. Yondu, however, I can recommend. Yondu is a strong recommendation, almost a must-have tier 2 for the speed class. Although his tier 2 passive does read pretty pathetically, it is a very strong tier 2 passive. Do not be fooled by the text, and it does, the tier 2 jump does bump his stats up by a lot. He deals a lot more damage at tier 2. He can out DPS the likes of Doctor Strange in co-op. I've done it many times. He is no slouch at all. You do need to get his uniform to make the most out of him, but Yondu at tier 2 will comfortably give you a 4 or 5 score in World Boss, which is fantastic. A 4 in Shadowlands. A 4 in Alliance Battle because he can give you over 100,000 in Extreme Mode on his own. And then a 3 in PvP because he relies on Ravager Strike to stay alive. Next up, we have Black Widow, guys. Black Widow, another favorite, another Avenger. She is very strong. Her tier 2 passive makes her a lot more survivable, and it boosts most of her skills, which deal lightning damage to very high levels. Black Widow is another strong recommendation for tier 2. She's going to give you a 4 across the board in World Boss, Shadowland, and Alliance Battle. The only place where I think she struggles a little bit is in PvP, where she'll give you a 3, but she will struggle against some of the other CC heavy tier 2s, especially the Spider Gang. Next up, guys, we do have Kate Bishop. Now, I did put Kate Bishop, Elsa, and Black Widow here at the top because these are the 3 characters that I think, if there's any argument to be made about must-have speed tier 2s, it's these 3 girls right here. And I can unequivocally say that you should tier 2 if you need a speed character, both Elsa and Kate Bishop. The only caveat I would say is you do need Elsa's newest uniform to do so. Kate doesn't have a uniform, so you have to weigh those options against each other. But both Kate and Elsa are must-have tier 2s. I repeat, do not sell low, buy high right now. Kate Bishop has fantastic CC, survivability, everything, guys. Huge DPS, crit damage, crit rate, guaranteed dodge, ignore dodge. She's got it all, guys. Fantastic character. Kate Bishop scores a 5 in World Boss, a 5 in Shadowlands. She makes short work of almost any level, a 4 in Alliance Battle and Alliance Battle Extreme, because she can score well over 100,000, but she is extremely difficult to use mechanically. And then I would believe about a 3 or a 4 in PvP, given the right setup. As well, my girl Elsa Bloodstone, with the newest uniform, mind you, is probably at best a 5 in World Boss, a 5 in Shadowlands, a 4 in Alliance Battle and Extreme mode, because she has shown the capability with her Monsters Unleashed uniform to deal a lot of AoE damage, especially with Force of Bloodstone. And then she's probably at best a 3 in PvP. Manually played, she's closer to a 5, but if she doesn't cast the Force of Bloodstone as the AI, she will die quickly because she has no immunity to damage. So those are the lists for all the speed characters, guys. I hope this has been able to shed some light for you on which speed characters you should tier 2. Let me know what you think of the list, guys. Let me know if you think I got some of them wrong, if you would have ranked some of them a little bit higher based on either their stats on the 4 different categories or their overall category, whether it was must-have, strongly recommend, situationally useful, or dumpster level, guys. And of course, if you like what you see, guys, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.